Welcome back to Waynesider, where the untold stories of your favorite superstars come alive. Tonight, we dive deep into a moment that has shaken the very core of WWE, a farewell that no fan saw coming, a goodbye filled with heartbreak, and a career that ended with a whisper and a roar. For years, this superstar carried more than just the weight of championship belts. Behind the lights, behind the cheers, there was a burden few could imagine. Every promo, every match, every meticulously executed move was layered with years of sacrifice, struggle, and silent resilience. Fans saw power. They saw dominance. They saw the unstoppable force in the ring. But behind that image, there was pressure. Endless pressure to perform, to entertain, to be the face of a global empire while carrying personal battles that rarely left the locker room. Please like, share and subscribe for more WWE content. The backstage whispers have always hinted at a subtle resentment, a quiet tension among peers, some born from rivalry, others from misunderstood intentions. Every handshake might have concealed a thought, every nod may have masked a silent question: how much longer can this go on? And yet, this superstar never faltered publicly. Every injury was shrugged off. Every setback turned into a lesson learned. Every loss became a chapter in an unfolding legend. The world only saw victories, but the truth is, the internal battles were often far more brutal than anything witnessed in the ring. There were moments when the superstar appeared untouchable, a figure of invincibility. But in private, there were whispers of doubt, sleepless nights, and a constant questioning of worth, not in terms of talent, but in terms of belonging in the family that WWE had built around them. Fans celebrated the rise, but the climb was steep. Friendships were tested, alliances formed and broken, and trust became a rare currency in the corridors of power. Every backstage interaction was a negotiation of emotion, every smile a carefully curated mask. The history of this superstar is a tapestry of triumphs and trials. From early days in developmental to the brightest lights of Raw and SmackDown, the journey was both inspirational and isolating. Every accolade brought applause, but also a quiet reminder of the sacrifices made in solitude. And just when it seemed the superstar had weathered it all, something happened backstage that would change everything. A moment so jarring that it would define the legacy not by victories, but by heartbreak. It began with subtle tension. Conversations that once flowed effortlessly turned cold. Partners once trusted now lingered in silence. The locker room, a place of camaraderie, became a stage for hidden agendas and calculated movements. Rumors began to circulate, quiet at first, then louder, until the walls themselves seemed to hum with anticipation. Something monumental was about to occur, something that would challenge loyalties and test the bonds forged over years of shared struggle. And then, on one fateful night, during what should have been a celebratory moment, the betrayal unfolded live. The shock reverberated across the arena. Gasps from the crowd, stunned expressions from colleagues, and a superstar left exposed in a way the world had never witnessed. A trusted partner turned on them, a strike that was both literal and symbolic. The attack cut deeper than any opponent ever could, piercing the heart of someone who had given everything to this family, this company, and the dream that WWE promised. The crowd's reaction was instantaneous, a mixture of outrage, disbelief, and sorrow. Fans screamed, some in anger, some in support, and all in mourning for what had just transpired. The arena felt smaller, suffused with tension that seemed almost tangible. Backstage, chaos reigned. Producers, referees, and fellow wrestlers scrambled to comprehend what had just happened. The superstar, shaken but defiant, refused to let the moment define them publicly, choosing instead to absorb the pain silently, a trademark resilience now tested beyond measure. In the aftermath, whispers grew louder. Some expressed sympathy, others critiqued choices made in real time, and a few questioned loyalties that had been assumed unbreakable. Every corner of WWE seemed to murmur the same question: why now, and why this way? The superstar's decision to leave was not impulsive. It was years in the making, a culmination of pressures, betrayals, and the realization that sometimes, love for the craft isn't enough to sustain the soul. Quitting was an act of self-preservation, a reclaiming of identity outside the chaos of an empire that demanded perfection. Fans, though heartbroken, began to reflect on the journey. Every match, every promo, every tear and triumph became a lens through which the final act of loyalty, courage, and heartbreak could be seen. Appreciation mingled with sorrow in a bittersweet celebration of a career that ended on its own terms. The whispers backstage revealed even more. Stories of silent struggles, long nights in isolation, and battles with both peers and management painted a picture of a superstar who had carried the weight of an empire on their shoulders, only to be struck down by a hand once trusted implicitly. Legacy, in WWE, is measured not only in championships but in the impact on colleagues, fans, and the family that watches from the sidelines. This departure has reshaped that legacy, leaving an indelible mark of vulnerability, courage, and the harsh realities of trust in a competitive arena. The family, both biological and professional, grappled with the news. Bonds once thought unshakable now bore cracks. Conversations that had been assumed safe became fraught with caution. The emotional toll was palpable, and the echoes of betrayal lingered far beyond the ring. Reflection is inevitable. For fans, it is a reminder that heroes are human. For wrestlers, it is a cautionary tale of loyalty and the cost of ambition. For the superstar, it is a chapter closed, a door shut firmly, with the pain of betrayal etched into memory but not erased from strength. Goodbye, WWE, was more than a farewell. It was a statement, a reckoning, and an emotional crescendo that will resonate for years. It marked the end of one journey and the beginning of another, one forged in fire, blood, and the quiet dignity of walking away. In the end, this story is about betrayal, broken trust, and the complex blood ties that bind the WWE family. It is about the triumphs overshadowed by heartbreak and the courage to step away when the heart can no longer bear the weight. And as we reflect on this emotional saga, we are reminded that even in a world built on spectacle, stunts, and scripted drama, the human element, the raw, unfiltered reality of emotion, remains the most powerful story of all. Thank you for joining us tonight on Wainsider. Remember, behind every legend is a journey filled with pain, glory, and moments that define the essence of wrestling, and the superstars who give us everything, even when the world seems to turn its back.